All right, YouTube, this Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. I got another very interesting topic for you guys. But before I start, I want to say something to the subscribers. I've been noticing they've been taking y'all comments down. I've actually witnessed them taking your comments down before I could even respond to your comments. Another thing they've been doing is they've been removing subs. So check your status, and if you're not a member, become a member. Now, let's get to the topic. The topic is they have a new bill in Congress. I don't know if a lot of you know about it, but it's a bill stating that if you make any comment that's they don't approve of about what's going on in the Middle East and those people, it can be a felony. Now think about that. If you make a comment and voice your opinion, Congress is passing a bill that's in the House right now saying that it can be a felony. So what that means is it's past the level of censorship. It's messing with freedom of speech. Now, let me let me show you something. And when I show this to you, think about what I'm actually going to read. I'm going to read from the United States Constitution. Check this out. Remember, I told you to get this book. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free speech thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I'm going to read it again. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's the Constitution. Remember, I tell you, I'll get this book. Now, how is Congress passing a bill that says you can't criticize what's going on in a foreign country? So an American citizen can't criticize another country without worrying about it being a felony now? Okay, that's what's going on while you guys were sleeping. Another thing, which is the topic for today, Benjamin Netanyahu is being taken to court and they're trying to subpoena him and arrest him for war crimes. He issued a veiled threat to America and say, if they arrest me, then they're coming after you for war crimes. Now, that's deep. This is supposed to be America's ally. And he's saying, if they come for me, I'm going to make sure they come for you. It's just like what Trump said about Biden. He says, if I don't have immunity, neither do you guys. So who's next up is Obama for the drone strikes. So right now, let's get into the clip. When we get into this clip, it's from The Hill, which is a very good show. And it's for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act for education, commentary, and the First Amendment. Let's go.
Vows to invade Rafah with or without a ceasefire deal. The UN report out this. New proposal for a ceasefire with Israel on the table that Hamas is apparently weighing. Mediators say they are hoping to avert an Israeli assault on Rafah, where more than 1.4 million Palestinian civilians have fled to. It was originally the town that Israel said would be safe from an attack. Now, to be clear, the New York Times reported yesterday that Netanyahu vows to invade Rafah with or without a ceasefire deal. A UN report out this week said that if the war stopped today, it would take until at least 2040 to rebuild what has been destroyed over the last 7 months. The setback, the United Nations Development Report said, will impact generations. In the past, Hamas has said it won't sign on to a deal to release all hostages without assurances that Israel will end the onslaught in Gaza and withdraw troops. Israel has said that it won't stop fighting until Hamas is destroyed.
Meanwhile, the threat by the International Criminal Court to issue warrants for senior Israeli leaders accused of war crimes has riled up Israel. Let's listen to what Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes. The Israeli army, the IDF, is one of the most moral militaries in the world. It takes endless measures to prevent civilian casualties, measures that no other army takes. It does so while fighting a terrorist enemy which uses its own civilians as human shields. You know the truth.
Hi, I'm Aaron Kendall. I'm a state planning attorney.
The Middle East Eye reported that Netanyahu called hostage families to get them to lobby for the ICC to back down and not issue warrants. And Axios reported that Netanyahu issued a threat of sorts, saying he would punish the Palestinian Authority if warrants are issued. Israeli officials said, quote, "It will consider the Palestinian Authority responsible and retaliate with strong action that could lead to its collapse." Note that the Palestinian Authority is the government in control in the West Bank, where Israel has been criticized for its illegal under international law settlements and the killing of Palestinians that may amount to war crimes, according to the ICC. America has gone out of its way to attempt to shield Israel from legal accountability under the ICC. GOP House Leader Mike Johnson argued that if the ICC was challenged by the Biden administration, it could create unprecedented power to issue arrest warrants against American political leaders, American diplomats, and American.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there for a minute. If you're all following what's being said, they're saying if you come for us and you charge us with war crimes, then you're going to have to charge America with war crimes as well. So you have these so-called allies or whatever relationship that they have is very suspicious, because now Congress is passing a bill, like I said in the beginning, that you can't even criticize a foreign country. How can you be an American citizen and you can't say nothing about what's going on in another country? I read the Constitution to you, and it told you that Congress was prohibited from censoring speech. And it goes back to what I was saying to the subscribers to this channel. A lot of subscribers, they reach out to me and they tell me that their comments are being taken down. Let me tell you guys, I don't take down comments. And if a person comments and they say something that I particularly don't like, then I will address it myself. You know what I mean? I will, meet you head on in the comment section about how you critique what I say. But I'm not going to delete your comment. I'm not going to censor you. You know what I mean? I believe everybody should have a voice. So we can see it in all phases of what's going on in our society, that the Constitution is being compromised, to say the least. So I'm going to finish and let you hear this.
American military personnel, he said, assuming, of course, they're convicted of war crimes. He went on to tweet on X, "The ICC should stand down on this immediately. Israel has the right to defend itself from terrorist organizations seeking to destroy it. Note to the ICC, the real criminals are with Hamas and in Iran." State Department spokesman Vedant Patel told the press, quote, "We do not believe the ICC has jurisdiction on this." Contrast that with President Biden's position here, with the administration's reaction to an ICC warrant issued for Vladimir Putin for alleged war crimes in Ukraine, which Biden praised. Biden is now using a similar jurisdiction deflection that Putin used himself in his own self-defense when under scrutiny by the ICC for war crimes in Ukraine. This is fascinating. This amounts basically to a defense, Israel saying in response to potential ICC warrants being issued, again, for its conduct that it has been carrying out for years, even long before October 7th, including murders of Palestinian civilians in the West Bank as part of its illegal settlement expansion campaign, to say, if you issue warrants for my past criminal behavior, I'm going to do more criminal behavior in the West Bank, a kind of mafia-ish sort of a threat. And in the midst of all of that, you have the bipartisan American state really coming to the defense to shield Israel from any accountability under international law, arguing that it would create a slippery slope of sorts that can negatively affect American leaders who also commit war crimes. I think a lot of people look at that and say, well, we want there to be accountability when you litigate an illegal war like the wars that America has been involved in for the last 20 years.
Well, I'm sure there are some people who say that. I don't want American leaders to engage in illegal or unconstitutional wars. I want them held accountable when they violate the law by the U.S. government. I don't want some international organization to have authority over what the U.S. does and does not.
Well,
I understand.
We're not party to that.
And when y'all look at him, you see how he's measuring every word. He's measuring every word, you know. And on these podcasts, I'm looking at a lot of podcasts. They are avoiding a lot of these heavy topics because they don't want scrutiny. I remember I made a video. My 2 videos that got the most views ever was when I talked about Will Smith. I got like 500 subscribers in one day. Then when I talked about Charles Barkley, got like 80,000 views. Now, what YouTube is telling or trying to tell me is we will reward you by pushing your videos if you stick to entertainment and you stick to these type of topics. But because I've deviated from entertainment, podcasting, and blogging to a more educational and informative platform, they are definitely messing with the numbers and removing subs. This is why I keep asking you guys that's been subscribing to me for a while to become members. Become members, get the membership. You know what I mean? And you got to like and share the videos because the channel is being undermined. Flat out.
And I absolutely agree with you on the hypocrisy point, on us saying that this court should, jail Putin or something like that, turning a total blind eye to the misdeeds of our own leadership and the misdeeds of Israel. So I think that's a fair criticism that we want the international forces sicked on our enemies, but also want license to do whatever we want at all times.
Well, I think that saying I think American leaders should be accountable, but just not to any foreign body, really raises the question: who on earth we expect to keep our own American leaders accountable? We saw this with Obama coming into office after the financial crisis, and we've seen this with every transition of power in American history. No new administration holds the prior administration accountable because they know that they are also going to engage in the same kinds of war crimes that every president does, in fact, engage in. And I don't know that that inures the benefit of the American people to basically let them have carte blanche because we are abstractly upset about the idea of international law holding America accountable the way it does the rest of the world.
I don't know how abstract it is to wonder. Will international law meet our standards of due process, of freedom of speech? I look at what the European Union has done, what every other country does that is contrary to our policies, our robust protections for freedom of speech. I don't want to be subject to other countries'
This is all war
laws
crimes. This is they're litigating whether people have committed war crimes.
Yeah, I think many Americans or many conservatives would feel it is a slippery slope to giving international global government more power to decide American inter-policies.
Yeah, I'm glad you used that language. One tweet was doing the rounds, and Adam Shabinsky, he works in NVIDIA, he tweeted out, "Mother of all slippery slopes. Today, they indict Israel for a military response to a violent invasion and mass hostage-taking. Tomorrow, it's Tony Blair and Bush for Iraq and Barack Obama for drone killings with civilian deaths."
Yeah, but never China or Iran or Russia or any of the other bad actors on the world stage. Right. We only only the U.S. and Israel will be held to any kind of standard. That
so you
the
agree with
objection
this?
we have.
Oh, that's
100%.
funny. I was bringing this up because so many people were dragging it on the internet as being laughable.
Right. There's only interest in punishing America and punishing Israel.
Well, it's the opposite. What's happening right now today, not in imaginary fantasy land, what's happening today is that America is the one that's uniquely absolved from any accountability. Israel is uniquely absolved from the rest of the accountability, and the rest of the world and the global South is constantly have their people rounded up and hauled into jail for doing things that in scale are much less impactful than what the most powerful.
Okay, are we sending U.S. Marshals to go arrest Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping? I don't think so. Yeah, I know it's the simplistic worldview, the leftist worldview that only the U.S. and only the Israel are at fault for anything that goes wrong in the world, and there are no bad actors on the global stage, and they're just reacting to bad things we've done, and not us.
Okay,
we are the prime movers, and
stick around. Horizon coming up after this.
Now again, you see the double talk and how he was measuring his words. But I told you, they're passing a bill to where you can't even criticize what's going on in the Middle East. You know what I mean? You're being called anti-Semitic. Now, like I told you when I read the First Amendment, as an American, based on the Constitution, you are allowed to seek redress. You are allowed to establish religion. You are allowed a freedom of press. You are allowed the freedom of speech. So when you look at what's going on all around with these college students, that is a distraction as well, because now we forgot all about the open borders. Now we forgot all about a lot of things that are going on domestically. We forgot about the economy. We forgot about the bills that's being passed while we're either just going to work and not paying attention, or the majority of people don't care. I've seen like people get in my comments like, I don't know who they really are. You know, they come in there, the Constitution don't apply to us, and we're this and we're that. But the moment they get arrested, the first thing they want to do is they want due process. They want a lawyer. They want to plead the Fifth Amendment. You know what I mean? They want to benefit from the laws that protect their rights. But then when they're dissatisfied, they descent into some type of ignorance, as if they don't realize that you got to pick a side. See, there is no more you can be in the middle in this country. You know, you have to really look side-eyed at a person who is going Democratic with the Democratic Party, with their fake democracy. You know what I mean? Because we realize that this is not a democracy. Because if it was democracy, we would have rights. If it was democracy, we would have say so about what's going on and how our tax dollars are being spent. But we don't. So it's 9:15 Friday morning. Enjoy your weekend. If there's something that I see that I need to put out there to the channel, to the community, I will. But remember, if you haven't become a member, become a member. That is one of the ways we can secure that they stop taking subs and they stop taking down comments. You know what I mean? Because it's undermining the very growth and position of this channel to inform the community about what's going on in these politics. So, signing to you out of Detroit. Salute to all patriots. Keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.